Well, top of the morning to ya. Thanks a million for taking the time to listen to me stories of my trip to Ireland. Did you really think I would have an accent after just a week in Ireland? No, me neither. Anyways, hi everyone back home. I miss you guys so much. It's been a long time coming, but I finally found the time to tell you guys about my trip to Ireland. So we flew from Edinburgh, Scotland to the fantastic city of Dublin, Ireland. And we were met by rain. Yes, more rain. Who'd have thunk that Ireland would have rain? Anyways, that didn't stop us. We still had an incredible time. We explored that city just front ways and back ways. I know that place like the back of my hand now. We found a really cool hostel that was really inexpensive, and we actually got a really amazing breakfast each morning. A full Irish breakfast is what they call it. And we had sausage and hash browns and eggs, you name it, they had it. It was delicious. So Dublin City was incredibly gorgeous. We walked around, we found a really cute cafe that made amazing cappuccinos. We also found the Dublin Castle, which wasn't quite as extravagant as the Edinburgh Castle, but it still carried quite a good amount of wow factor. We also found this place called St. Stephen's Green, which I think is probably my most favorite place in all of Ireland. As you enter the gates of St. Stephen's Green, you just take a look around and it's just so beautiful. There's a pond with bridges over top that you can walk across. There's swans everywhere. And there's a big open area with fountains and flower arrangements. And you can just sit and just take in the beauty of the place. Me and Leanna, we were there and we just didn't want to leave. We had quite an amazing time. But that day we walked so much. So it only made sense that we should go back to our hostel after that. So since we weren't traveling with a touring company, we didn't really know what things that we should see while we were in Ireland. We had a lot of freedom. We could take the train wherever we wanted to in Ireland, but we didn't know what was worthwhile seeing. So we asked around, and a lot of people told us that we should check out the little town of Howth, and it's located just east of Dublin on a little peninsula. So we thought, hey, it's not too far away, let's do a day trip out of it. So we hopped on a train and explored this beautiful harbor town. It had a really pretty lighthouse that was fun to explore, and it also had cliffs surrounding the village. So Leanne and I took a few hours and just went exploring, and the cliffs were absolutely breathtaking. You could look out from them, and all you would see for miles and miles was ocean. It was breathtaking. That night, when we got back into Dublin, we decided to go out for dinner, and we went to this place called The Counter. And that place serves the best burgers I have ever had. You go there, and they give you this card that has all these little boxes that you can check off. And basically the things you're checking off are the things that you want on your burger. So you get a certain amount of, vegetables, pick a kind of sauce that you want, the kind of meat you want, those sorts of things, da-da-da-da-da. So I decided to get a little creative. Instead of just having a regular old burger, I put on my beef burger brie cheese, baby greens, shredded carrots, craisins, and apricot glaze. I'm telling you, it was the best burger I have ever had. Simply amazing. That night we also decided to go out on the town and just explore the pubs that were around. So Leanne and I had lots of fun dressing up and going out dancing. The next day we decided to hop on another train and go all the way to Galway, Ireland, which is on the very western side of Ireland. We had really high expectations because lots of people had told us that it was better than Dublin. But I think we were slightly disappointed. The weather wasn't very great, and we didn't know what to check out. No one told us what to see. We just kind of assumed that the place itself would be amazing. So we weren't as dazzled as we hoped we would be. But it was still a really gorgeous place. We had an opportunity to go and see the Cliffs of Moher, which we were really excited about. But that day happened to be one of the foggiest days that we experienced, and we ended up not being able to see a thing. Picture right now you're seeing is Liana, and behind her is where the cliffs should be, but you can barely make out just one of them. So that day was a little bit miserable for us. We were a little bit disappointed, actually a lot disappointed that we didn't get to see these spectacular cliffs that people rave about. So after Galway, we decided that instead of going directly back to Dublin, we would explore a little town along the way. So we found this place called Athlone and hopped off the train. We walked around the town for a little while, but because we still had our backpacks, we got really exhausted. So we tried to find a hostel. There were absolutely none to be found. So we didn't want to get back on the train. So we may or may not have splurged a little bit that night. We bought a room at a nice hotel and just soaked in the fact that we had privacy. We actually jumped in our bathing suits and ran hot water in the tub and had a little bit of a jacuzzi, which was lots of fun. We also went out for dinner that night to this place called the Olive Grove, which next to the counter was just, such good food. We had a 4-course meal that included a delicious warm salad. We also had a sorbet, and then we had pork with mashed potatoes and gravy and veggies and yummy apricot thyme compote, and then we also had dessert, and also we shared a bottle of wine. It was so good. I would love to go back to that place right now. The next day we went back to Dublin and checked out some of the cathedrals that were there. We didn't get to go inside because they cost money, but they were really stunning. We got to see Christ Church Cathedral and St. Patrick's Cathedral, which are both very, very famous and very just spectacular to look at. And the day after that was the day that I had to say goodbye to my dear friend and cousin Liana. She hopped on a bus to the airport and flew home the next day. That was September 22nd. So for a few minutes I was actually feeling quite sad and lonely, but I didn't let that stop me. I actually went for a walk by myself and went back to St. Stephen's Green and just read for a little while, listened to some music, and enjoyed the scenery. I also went to the Ireland National Museum, and it was free to get in, so I just spent a couple hours there looking at artifacts, and it was just so amazing, just all the history that was in that place. There was a 15-foot long wooden canoe. There were ancient jewelry that was made of gold and glass. And they also had found an ancient manuscript of the Book of Psalms, which I thought was really, really cool. They also had an ancient Egypt exhibit. It wasn't very big, but they had a couple mummies on display and some of their artifacts as well. That evening I went out for drinks with a guy from Toronto that I had met while Liana and I were in Galway. We met up and just had a really nice night, and it was a really good way to end off my experience in Ireland. And after that I flew to Germany, which is where I am now. And you've already seen some of my updates, and I'll be posting more as the weeks go on. Love you guys so much, and I hope to talk to all of you soon. Bye.